I am blown away. Quite literally. I felt like I was about to get knocked into my chair watching this week's episode of Wistoria. Jesus! The Sion versus Will fight we knew was going to be quite literally heat given the flames coming off, but it even went above expectations when that Falcon came out. And the jump between present day and flashback, this can be a bit of a hit or a miss, even for me. I'm pretty easy going when it comes to, like, directing shifts, but sometimes when they do cut away from, like, okay, we're gonna give you some backstory, and then we're gonna go back to the action, it can just feel like the flow gets broken. Not here. To see the complexity of their dynamic, and the fact that, you know, there's so much to break down, but at the end of the day, I can understand the frustration a character like Sion went through. Not that I think he was justified for having an irrational hatred for Will, but the idea of just someone refusing to look at you and acknowledge you, as basically Will's under the impression no one acknowledges him, to have them come together by the end of that fight and almost see each other as rivals and equals and wanting to surpass the other, the fact that it makes sense to do it, to cockblock us in that moment, because ultimately that's a fight that shouldn't happen just yet. They have a long ways to go, but this is a big turning point, and that superhero landing, I don't even know how the hell he did that, but that superhero landing to fight Julius, I thought we weren't fighting Julius. I thought we were going to lose because Sion decided to fight us, and instead we're going to have probably an even crazier fight. This show, Don Machi author, Chainsaw Man director, this is like literally the dream combo. That's all I'm saying. I of course have full live reactions over on Patreon. If you want to see my full link of thought to any of these episodes, it's going to be over there exclusively. So one of the biggest surprises was the fact that very early on into the school life, Sion actually tried to recruit Will. Now, obviously, it was more of a, no one likes you, you're not going to get by without me, I'll protect you, be my underling. But to be fair, I'm pretty sure he said probably similar things to his other goons. Like, it just kind of felt like a situation where it's like, okay, you know, a friend group has the top dog. It's not maybe the healthiest way to go about dialogue, but at the same time, like, he didn't really initially like how just people naturally push back against someone who can't help themselves. So it's almost like charity. And was he wrong? Of course he was wrong. But at the same time, the fact that Will just, from his point of view, it just looked like Will had school shooter eyes. Like, he just was not looking good. Like, he just looked like everyone was below him, and he was just looking beyond. And in this case, we know he's looking at the tower, of course. Now, from Will's point of view, it's basically like he's pathetic, and he knows that everyone thinks he's pathetic. He hates himself probably more than anyone can hate him, so go ahead and bully me. I mean, he doesn't like it, but it's like, why are you doing this when I already know I'm trash? Very two different perspectives for that scene. That's why the cutting away from the action 2 times to get across that was very effective. But the idea that, you know, to come together in this scene, because at the end of the day, we have teammates fighting each other. Will's trying his best to not fight, and Sion's saying, bitch, please. And it's a long time coming. I mean, he literally had hatred for years, it seems. We know at the beginning of the show when he saved him from the mechs or whatever they were, the golems. You know, that really kickstarted the, oh my god, what the hell, why has this kid been holding back? I've been wrong, like, if I've been bullying him all this time and being so mean, why did he never throw hands at me? And it frustrates him. Add in a bit of a girl rivalry here of like, the girl I like, you, it's just, it becomes messy. But it all stems from the core idea that this rivalry has been brewing since, you know, pretty early on into their school life. And to actually have Will, you know, at the end of the day, what was said to him really wasn't a compliment by any stretch, but it's the fact that for the first time in his life, someone acknowledged him and actually wanted to see him as he was, and because of that, he was willing to give it his all. I think Will would have absolutely won in this moment, but at the same time, the rematch could be very interesting when they both have they go completely out. I mean, if he's already improved so much already, I mean, it'll be interesting. But the idea of a teammate fighting another teammate, honestly, instant disqualification was definitely on the table in my mind, and there was definitely a lot of criticisms for what was happening. But what was fascinating is that we know there's scouts who like watch this event and, you know, try to figure out who's the best talent and this, that, and the third. And the idea that Will's obviously made quite a name for himself already, but it's the fact that despite doing something that wasn't accepted, like, oh, he's just a thug, he's a class bully, whatever, There actually, by the end of this episode, was a lot saying, Jesus, this man's no student, like he's a prodigy, like what he did with that Falcon was just absolutely next level. So here's the thing, like, I don't think Sion's actually going to be completely shit out of luck given everything that happened here. He may need to go to anger management or something, but at the same time, I think he's definitely impressed. Now, the thing is our boy's a little winded. Now, I think Will can beat Julius. I do. I really do. But I'm not so sure right now. It almost felt like we had to nerf him a bit, like make him winded and wounded from the first fight in order to make this fight feel actually like there's stakes, because it's going to be a challenge. But it was beautifully produced once again. The jumping around, the flames, just the tossing around. When he summoned that Birdman and just, at one point, he stabs his sword into the ground, flips above the bird's attack, and the bird clips its own wings. Like, that shit is just, that's what I love to see. And it just felt like, despite it being a drawing, you felt like we were engulfed in that forest, and it was getting a little heat. It was a little humid, and Jesus, it was just, it was top tier. Like, this show has impressed. From the very first episode, I was like, I was not expecting this show to be that good. I knew who was behind it, but I was not expecting the show to be this good. And every week since, it's just, for the most part, just climbed. I think there was one episode, I don't remember exactly, it was around the middle point, where it just felt like it kind of stayed at the quality. It wasn't great, it wasn't bad, it was just a good episode. But I mean, the fact that we have 6 episodes, and I'm probably willing to say about 5 of them were just absolute peak. We got a pretty special show on our hands, I'm not gonna lie. And, wow, I love the rivalry. I think Sion had some irrational hatred, as most people do, but the frustration, I love the fact that we got across why he was frustrated, on top of why our boy has been frustrated. And it's not about saying, like, he should have. People make dumbass decisions, because we are a dumbass species. We have excellence in our DNA, but we all make irrational decisions. And the idea that for someone who's just been bullied and tormented his whole life, despite having one of his bullies and tormentors in front of him, it's the fact that he acknowledges him. And it's just, it's sad, but I mean, for a kid who's been pretty much abused his whole life, the fact that someone's actually willing to say, you fight me, you're not pathetic because you can't use magic, I'm frustrated because you're so freaking talented despite not being able to use magic, so give it your all. It's just, it's so good. And to establish this episode with the note on his back and him burning it off saying, no, we don't do that, come with me and you'll have a good school life. It set the stage for one hell of an episode, what can I say? Now, of course, those are my feelings. Let me know what you're thinking down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon. And hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Jorid, Jacob McDougal, Hat Guy, Sage Narf, Andre Cannon, Real Chill, and we also have Christoph Zenzwoski. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and you'll have a good one.